What up? What up? What up? Vader Games in the building. What it is, my people. First things first, my peoples come first. What it do? My peoples being Manchester City fans, neutrals, rivals. We're all peoples. It's about football here. So thank you for tuning in. Let me get myself settled. Hopefully my levels are good. Please let me know in the comments. Sounds not too loud. Sounds not too low. Want to make sure everything's nice. We got people in the building already. Daniel, what it do, my guy? What it do? We got a good show tonight. We got a good show. And I know it's late. I appreciate everyone for tuning in right now and the support. It is amazing. Let me put the Charlie, my guy, good looking out. Yeah. Home and away. It's been long overdue with regards to the show. It's been a fantastic, just an amazing dynamic, right? For me to be able to connect with a local fan, me being the away fan, and just being able to talk football. So a new background. It's a new background with regards to this show, 100%. And I'm going to continue to make some changes. Martin's in the building in the comments real quick. Let me adjust my lighting, so bear with me. What's going on here? It's a little too much. That's a little better. It's a little better. All right. The sound is great. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you so very much. I got that properly set up on screen. CM City in the building. I believe you're new. And again, I appreciate the love. If you're new to the channel, you hit that follow, subscribe, like. If you're new, share this within your group chat groups. Share it amongst your peeps. We're all peeps, so share it amongst your peeps. And let's all have this combo. The spotlight is on you, Martin. It's all good. I know you're in transit, commuting for a bit, so take your time. Sent you the link within Twitter, so should be all good there when you have a chance. But I'm gonna do the intro real quick because, like always, when you're tuned into the Vader Games TV, I'm Vader Games. This isn't Why Always Me. This is Home and Away. Home and Away, which is a dynamic show that has the best of both worlds. It's got the local, homegrown, home fan living in it, right, amongst it, and then it's got the away fan that does his or her most to connect with the club from a distance and consume as much everything that they love about the club, but obviously through different means, right? We're not local, so we got to make the best that we can. And I love the fact that we are able to have this conversation, right? Technology is an amazing thing. Amazing thing. So without any further ado, and before we get into these topics, you know what we have to do. We got to run it. And now that I see that intro, I realize I have to make a new one. I have to make a home and away intro. I got to run that. So that's actually going to be a good project for the summer for me to make that happen. The comments. I got a confession. I've been interacting with a lot more content creators the last few weeks. And I'll be honest with you, when I've tuned in to some of the shows, by default, I just tune in. I interact. It's through StreamYard. So if any of you are familiar with StreamYard, you're kind of just in, and it's a nice interface. But you have the option of just looking at the screen, interacting with who you're talking with, or you can look on the side right here, and you have the option of a private chat, private comments, or private chat, and then there's comments. Yeah, private chat and comments. I typically don't look at the comments. I haven't. Like even my earliest introductions when I was on the Football Terrace, for example, when I was on True City Fan or even Pitch Points, and even more recently when I was fortunate enough to be on Daps's channel, and even Don Hussam. The comments themselves on the side, I didn't pay attention to. I had the option, but I didn't. I've done it recently, and it's been a learning. It's been a learning. And True City Fan Patrick said, dude, don't read the comments. Don't deal with it. And it wasn't even me reading the comments in a live stream. It's kind of like reading some of the comments after the fact with regards to his channel in particular. And it's something that I'm going to address within the topics that I have listed here on the screen, right? These topics here, I'm not going to say them out loud. We can all read them. But those topics in particular, a lot of it was sparked really based off some of the comments that I was receiving from City fans as well as rivals, right? I don't think there's ever really a neutral, right? We're all biased. But let me put these comments up on the screen real quick, just so you guys are fully aware. And I'm going to put this up soon, Charlie. This month, I promise. So talking with Martin about some content coming out really soon. Charlie goes, anyone seen the links to Neymar? I defo don't want him here. I've seen those links, but again, I don't think it's real. I really don't think it's real. And maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about that. Martin says 5 more minutes. I think he'll definitely be sooner than that. He says no thank you to the Neymar talk. And can we talk about the panic within our fan base? It's laughable. We will talk about, there is the panic, which is one thing. We will address the panic, but then there's also the concern within the fan base that I think is legit. I'm not panicking, but I'm concerned. Daniel, Martin said it right there. That's funny. Let me bring Martin into the mix as I go through these comments as well. Martin, thank you so much for joining. And I want to say this before we get started. Martin has been kind enough after a long day, because obviously over there in the UK, it is 11:40. So I appreciate him taking the time to being on this show, on this channel, and this show in particular, Home and Away, and giving me that home perspective. So how you doing, man? Thanks for tuning in.
Good evening. How are you, the boss man? How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been an interesting day with all the rumors and transfer talk, but overall, no complaints on my end.
I've had enough of this transfer window. I want it closed.
It's never boring. You have to admit, it has not been a boring transfer window at all, and because of it, it's led to a lot of drama. So let me adjust the screen here and make this perfect. I think I might have to do it like this. Yeah, I think we'll do it like this. So I'm not sure if you got a chance to see it within the thumbnail, but I'm going to talk to the comments that we'll be tackling tonight. And the first, let me be honest with you, and those of you in the comments, thank you so much for tuning in. It is the one and only Martin from Mancunian Way that's been able to tune in tonight, and we're going to have the home and away conversation with regards to Manchester City and some other topics. So I've witnessed, I'm sure you have, we've all witnessed our players having to leave the club for a crazy number of reasons, whether it's their decision to move on to a different club, the club's decision not to continue to keep them as players, an opportunity with regards to another club that shows interest and wants to buy the players. So a lot of things go into why players have to leave the club. And I gotta be very honest with you, Martin. I'm not sure if it's something that I'm just becoming hypersensitive to, or if it's something that's kind of been consistent and now I'm just seeing it. But the treatment of our outgoing players, from what seems to me to be a increasing, continually growing portion of our fan base, is really rubbing me the wrong way, because they're not saying thank you, see you later. They're not saying it was great while you were here, or thank you for being here, bye. It's a kick you in the butt, slam the door behind you type commentary that I'm seeing, obviously, and this is with regards to socials, in particular Twitter and YouTube comments. Like, what? How am I even going to phrase this? Okay, the topic itself. Let me put the topic on, because maybe that might center my mind here. So, it's class. Like, class should be permanent. Like, class should be a constant thing. And when I think of Manchester City fans, I think of class. I think of a different set of fans versus the rest of the world, versus the rest of our, like, even our rival fans. And maybe I'm completely out in left field. Maybe I'm just looking at it too sensitively, but I feel like the fan base is moving differently and picking up or taking on traits of our rivals with how we treat our own players. Am I crazy in what I'm thinking as the away fan in that perspective?
No. Good evening to everyone in the comments. Hope you're all having a lovely evening. Thank you for joining Veta. If you are staying up late, I've noticed Charlie's in. So big up Charlie, Daniel, and everyone else. I'm going to go back a little bit, Vader, because obviously I'm doing this from the home perspective in terms of this now. So whatever I say, by the way, I'm not talking about the fan base. I'm talking about the way fans in Manchester would view it.
Yeah.
And I understand we're now a global fan base and global fans, and that is absolutely wonderful. I love it, which is the whole reason why I started my channel anyway. But Manchester City were always a family club, a club in Manchester that looked after their own. We were from a working-based city, working class, worked hard, and going to a game on a Saturday was the be-all and end-all. If you'd had, and excuse my French here, a shitty week at work, you had Saturday or Sunday to get you back going, get you flowing, get you absolutely rocking and rolling. Now, I get everything had changed. Now, we had the global phenomenon that was over the road, over in Trafford. That was bringing in world superstars and fans from Ireland, all over the world, flying in. Nowhere you want to see the Manchester airport when United are at home. It's crammed. Which, again, nothing wrong with. Absolutely nothing wrong with. But we always viewed ourselves, and they had this arrogance and people who say cockiness within Ferguson, the players, the fan base. Everything was, we're better than you. Players leave, players go. And it was a business. It was a business, if you understand what I mean. And I always go back to 1999 when we won, when we beat Wigan at home at Main Road and we won 1-0. And we were in the lowest depths of division of what is now League One. And United had just won the treble. And we all had a pitch invasion because we were going to Wembley for the first time in nearly 20 years. Since 1981. This is a pitch invasion of 30-odd thousand people just to get to Wembley.
Yeah.
This is just Wembley. And we sang, you can stick your effing treble, because I won't say that word, effing treble up your arse. That is what we sang on the pitch, to the cameras, to everyone. And we all swore if we ever got successful, we'd never become them next door. we'd never ever become them next door. That's the worst thing we ever wanted. We didn't want to be them. We didn't want to go down the arrogant, cocky road. We didn't want to be that fan base, that club.
Yeah.
And listen, everyone is entitled to their opinion. Now,
100%.
there is a big,
100%.
there is a
Yeah.
big difference between Sterling has not performed the last 2 years. You can have a debate all day long. Is Sterling world class? Is he not world class?
Mm-hmm.
But the comments we've sat on our channel for 12 months talking about the media hate towards Raheem Sterling, for example. And I'm using Sterling now as an example.
Yeah.
We talked about the absolute hatred come from the English media. And I'll be honest, I'm an Englishman and I'm ashamed of the way the media can act at times. Really am.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the derogatory things I've seen about Sterling in this last week has been absolutely deplorable. It has been disgusting. And it's as though the guy never did anything. It's as though the guy just missed open nets and that's all he did for 7 years.
Exactly.
Yes,
And
his performances have decreased, but this is a guy who has still scored in cup finals, winners' league titles, scoring 91st minute goals to help us win titles, and that's all gone. And it's all sort of. And I get it, but we've now got some fans, and we'll say some. The majority are still really humble and good, but there are some fans. I hear it in spaces. We're not a big club, so we haven't won the UCL. Speak to a lot of City fans, they couldn't give a monkeys about the UCL. They really couldn't. But it's now, I'm sorry to say it, but it is some new fans that have come in and now they want better. They want better, they want bigger, they want this, they want that. And I don't get it.
But this is the thing that's so crazy about it, right? Because if you're going to generalize, to your point, I would be generalized as a new fan, right? I would be generalized as a new fan in terms of not having that long-standing history and being there in the early to mid 90s. I'm not that fan. But when you take the time to look at how the clubs come along and even take time to even hear the stories and hear the progression and know what the fan base is about, there's nothing wrong with being new. There's nothing wrong with having expectations.
Nope.
But what is wild, and again, it's I can't even put it on this is new fan mentality, because it shouldn't be new fan mentality. A person treating its player, or a fan treating a player of the club, should be very standard. It should be very standard from a treatment standpoint. And what I'm seeing is fans, and again, I actually had to be really careful with my wording with regards to my tweets. Any of you that follow me on Twitter and kind of saw a few of the back and forth, and again, I've interacted with many people. There's been a few that was on the timeline, but there's also some back and forth that I had to do in private on the DMs. And I made the mistake of saying that the lack of class or maturity that I'm seeing within some of the commentary on Twitter and in some of these YouTube comments has me thinking of some of this fan base showing plasticity within their fandom. Like, I said it in a different way, but I suggested plasticity. Not in the sense that you have no right of being a fan, not the sense of you're come here lately, new to the fan base type action. I meant plastic in terms of you're not there for the grit. You're not there for the fight. You're not there to actually accept your players for their faults. Because every player that's left the club has had great games, poor games, fantastic individual moments of brilliance, and errors. And I also don't appreciate when we've done it to other players. Jesus, Zinchenko rumored to go, Ake rumored to go, Sterling obviously gone. So Sterling and Jesus gone. What is wrong with the fans not just saying, guys, you're saying bye, thank you, see you? Why does there have to be a jab? Why does there have to be a slide comment about a miss or not passing the ball, whatever it may be with regards to our players? And I'm talking across the board. I don't understand that energy, and it triggered me to have to make a comment. And it, in all honesty, for those that had to throw in a jab without saying goodbye or saying thank you, my comments to you. Those of you that just said see ya, okay, thank you. My comment didn't apply to you. But if you could not control yourself to not have to kick a man while he's leaving to the point, slam the door behind him, I just didn't get it. And it triggered me, and I was like, this is only going to snowball and get worse, because players are going to have to come and go, and not every player has had a perfect career at Manchester City. It's and my whole thing. Yeah, go ahead.
One mate, a question. Sorry, I could name you 8 or 9 players who did not perform week in, week out in our team last year. And
Yes,
some of them
right.
are very big players. One of them won the Player of the Year in Kevin De Bruyne. Let's be straight and let's be totally honest, because this is where it hurts some people. Honest there. Kevin De Bruyne, for 2 or 3 months of last season, was not around. He was on the pitch, but he was not contributing the way he can contribute. And we all rolled out with he's tired. Because I tell you what you see it in games.
Yeah.
So, for example, because I did watch-alongs on my channel week in, week out, and I used to say Kevin De Bruyne is not in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you get is a row of excuses. Now,
Right.
if you said Raheem Sterling was not in this game, it becomes, well, what do you expect? And it was the same for Phil Foden. Some players, whether we like it or not, get a pass. They just simply get a pass. I don't know why. It's like Pep Guardiola. We're now in a mentality of, if you criticize anything to do with the team, the manager, the coaches, you are a plastic and a fake fan.
But see, this is where I don't want to get derailed a little bit, because I have no problem with criticism. I have no problem with an opinion. I have no problem with pointing out differences. My problem is class is supposed to be permanent. And us as Manchester City fans should have the class to not bring up those points or opinions or weaknesses when a player is saying, thank you, farewell, I'm leaving. Thank you for the memories. I wish I could have done more at the club, but I'm on to something else. I'm moving on. That's my problem, that I'm like, why am I seeing so much of it? And then what also triggered me, and you mentioned this, Martin, and you're bang on, is it's not consistent. It's not consistent. If you're going to criticize, if you're going to point out weaknesses, you're going to point out some of their lows of lows while at Manchester City, why are you not doing it for every player that's now left the club? Why is it only a particular player that you're looking to emphasize, as opposed to everyone that's leaving out the door? Bring up all their bad points. Say, oh, good to have you out the door because you did this, and send them out. Like, and I don't want to go down the road of bringing up our current or past Manchester City players as a reason to say, here's why you're so inconsistent, and here's what I'm seeing with regards to Sterling or Jesus.
It's not a point scoring of he's bad.
Exactly.
I mean, go back and listen to the last stream I did with you. And I talked about Gabby and everything else, and there is that inconsistency. Like we said, Gabby scored 4 goals against Watford, had a couple of blinders against Real Madrid, and everyone was talking as though he was like this amazing Ronaldo, number 9, and he was outstanding. And it was like the previous 4 or 5 years had suddenly been forgotten about. And I'm not trying to dig Gabby out. What I'm trying to say is it becomes a human nature thing. That's the only thing I can really think of it, Vader, is that people look at the here and now. They don't look at it on a consistent basis. So, for example, you played for your local team and you had a shocking 4 games in a row, but the next game you banged 4 goals. You will be raved about for the 4 goals, and the previous 4 games are forgotten about because people just look at the positives straight away. That isn't how a football manager works. Pep Guardiola does not work like that. Pep Guardiola will work on that. The one thing is, if Pep Guardiola had a player who did nothing for 4 games and then smashed 4 in the next game, Pep Guardiola will be rollicking that player because he's seen something going, hang on a minute, where is the consistency here?
Yeah.
Why can you do it one week and then not the other? And yes, you can label that at Sterling for the last couple of years. No one is, like I said, if you're going to do it as constructive. But this, is he a legend? We're now going into debates. Is he a legend? Is he not?
Yeah.
Good luck at Chelsea. You won't win anything. You won't do this. Come on. Just say good luck. Thanks for the memories. All the best. Listen, Sterling knows in his heart of hearts he's going down a level. He's not stupid. Sterling knows he's giving up guaranteed trophies. He knows he is.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's what it is. Gabriel Jesus is giving up. Sorry, this is no dig at Arsenal, but he's giving up guaranteed trophies or guaranteed success or guaranteed challenges.
Yeah, or guaranteed Champions League play.
But do you know what? Sometimes you got to look at the happiness of a player. And if Gabriel Jesus is happy playing number 9 for Arsenal on a consistent, regular basis and not being benched for a fullback to play false 9, then good luck to the lad. You got to remember, I said this is a World Cup year. These players will want to play football.
And also, this is also a point that I brought up was there's also a level of maturity. Us as fans, we're passionate about this game, but we also, at the back of our mind, need to remember that football's a business. So when the players are making choices on moving on because they can't come to an agreement with regards to salary, or they're moving on because even in terms of some of the conversations with regards to playing opportunities and whether they would be first team or whether they would be considered to play in certain positions, we're not faulting Gabby. We're not faulting Sterling for wanting to do more and it currently not being available at City. So they're making the choice, a calculated choice, to say, I'm going to try my best somewhere else. And I just saw so much immaturity with regards to the comments. I know that there's no way of telling who's on the other end and how old they are or whatever it is, but it irked the heck out of me. And I had to deal with it. And before I get to the
hard. It is hard. I did it earlier on. I think you were in the space where some guy was just trying to troll and he was winding it up and he was claiming to be this PSG fan and City were fake and I just lost my rag because that's the emotional part. Yes, you just said football is a business, but I think at times, mate, I'm going to be totally honest with you, and I don't know if anyone else thinks this in the chat, but I think sometimes we've gone too much to the football as a business and we've took the love and the emotion out a little bit. But what you've got to remember is there's a fine line between being emotional and being passionate and being downright cruel and nasty. And that is where the line has gone to, especially with Sterling. It's gone to nastiness and real sort of hatred. Because I'll tell you what, he'll get a standing ovation in the Etihad next year when he comes back. Nobody's going to be booing him next year when he walks back. Yeah, we might have a bit of banter if he misses a chance or whatever. But he'll get a standing ovation.
Yeah, the banter is supposed to happen to a rival opponent now. I totally get it. And yeah, he deservingly should be kind of razzed or booed when he does come back. But in terms of like, hey, welcome, we're seeing you play again. I hope our fans, again, class is permanent, and that was my whole point. We can remain and act with class even when we're doing all of those things that you just mentioned. Let me go to the comments real quick. Um, CM City, CM City was agreeing with what you were saying, Martin. He was bang on there. And Halo Bang Out goes, he will get an ovation for sure, he says. And Daniel says, I hope he gets a standing O. That's what he deserves. Facts. He gets a standing O. Welcome. We remember all the things that you've done for the club. Whistle blows, match is on. Now we're cheering against you for the game. And that's how it naturally, rightfully should go. Okay. I should have let me set this straight. Let me set this straight. And sorry for this miniature rant, everyone. But I'm going to be fully transparent because like I said, I read some of the comments. I've been dealing with some of the messages in my DMs, and I just want to make this 100% transparent. My complexion is unavoidable. You can see the color of my skin. You can make your assumptions of maybe where I'm from. If you look at my profile, you see my lineage. Mother and father, you see Caribbean descendants. I live in Canada. My criticism, my opinion with regards to players all across the board is that an opinion of a player for what they are as a player. I don't go extra hard because Raheem Sterling is Jamaican. I don't go extra hard because Jesus has a slightly darker complexion. That's not how I move. And I was accused of my whole stance to why I wanted the fan base just to show some class with regards to our parting players, all of our parting players, of like the BLM movement and being super pro black. That's not the case. The case is the fan base as a whole. If Zinchenko leaves, and the same commentary in terms of exposing weaknesses or failures that he's had as a player is how we choose to comment to him when he finally says goodbye or has a farewell letter, I'm going to be just as upset because I think as a fan base we're better than that. You can hear my North American accent and then be snobbish and think I shouldn't be talking football. That's all up to whoever of you that want to have that point of view. But I'm just looking at it as a Manchester City fan and thinking our Manchester City players should be treated in a different way. We don't need to be treating them the way our rivals do. And this excuse about this is what happens when you become a big club and the fan base grows, that you're going to have this type of interaction with your players. No, that's a lie. It's a lie. It's a cop out. Just because we're growing or more of us are going to be within these social platforms is no excuse to carry on this way. So I'm going to be consistent with how I deal with my players. I'm going to learn to be better with just ignoring how others choose to do it, because like I was reminded recently, Martin, it's kind of funny. We were all raised differently. Some of us were raised to say thank you, hello, goodbye. Some of us were raised that way. Some of us weren't. Some of us were raised to talk to our elders in a particular way. Some of us aren't. I believe some of us move with regards to our players in a certain way. Some of us don't. So I'm going to do a better job at accepting how others within the fan base choose to deal with our players. That's my 2 cents. That's my learning within this transfer window, because it seems that it's at a peak in terms of how these exiting players that have honestly done so much for us this past year, and how this year went down to the wire, and every single body was needed to get that EPL title. Everyone was relied on because bodies were dropping, and not everyone was in great form. And for then the season to end, and some of our fans to be kicking players out, was wild to me.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going to touch on something now, and I'm going to give people the harsh truth here. And it comes back to the some players get a pass. Raheem Sterling, let's be honest, has not kicked and screamed his way to the exit door like, say, a Leroy Sané has. Leroy Sané was publicly negotiating with Bayern Munich a year and a bit before he'd even left Manchester City. And you could tell with that in his performances. He's sort of down tools a little bit, and sadly he got his injury. There's also somebody else right now who is quietly, and don't know if anyone's actually noticed this. Which person's doing all the shouting and the promoting for Barcelona at the moment? There's one person doing it. His name keeps cropping up, and he keeps saying this, that, and the other, and making demands. Does anyone know who that is? Do you know who it is, Vader?
You tell the public. You tell the public.
And I'm not trying to catch you out here. I'm not. I'm not trying to get to the point. There's a guy called Jorge Mendes.
Yeah.
Who is a famous footballing agent. Does everyone know who he is the agent for?
Oh, his list of agents are huge, but within
who does it include at Manchester City?
Well, it includes one of our Portuguese players.
Yeah, who he's publicly, because Pep Guardiola has made it public that he wants to leave. Now, his performances on the pitch have not shown he wants to leave, but he does. Now, what is going on at the moment is, and this is what I want to really make this point of, I'm not sure if people have noticed it or not, but Jorge Mendes is coming out with comments for Bernardo Silva at the moment, very much like Yaya's agent did. If you go back, Yaya's agent was doing all the gobbing, talky, and Yaya wasn't shutting him down. Jorge Mendes is doing the exact same thing through the Catalonian press, saying, well, I think, 50 million for Bernardo Silva. Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
When are you trying to negotiate prices for your player? Do we all think Bernardo Silva knows nothing about that? Bernardo Silva knows very well that Manchester City have demanded a fee for him. 1, because of his performances, 2, because of his importance to the team, and 3, because of his length of contract.
Mm-hmm.
Mendes, shut your mouth. Bernardo Silva needs to tell his agent to be quiet. Because I'm telling you now, it will not end well for him. The fans will turn on it because Bernardo Silva is quietly and, in a way, very cunningly trying to engineer his move away. And I get it. If Bernardo Silva put his hands up and went, you know what? I want to move back to Spain. I want to start a family, blah, blah, blah. Now, whether he thinks last season, I didn't get me move. So this year, I've got to, very much like Harry Kane's agent did, I've got to make a bit more noise. I'll do it through my agent now. I'll make that noise. I'll bang on the wall a bit louder.
Mm-hmm.
So Sterling never did that. Sterling wasn't banging away going blah, blah, blah. Bernardo Silva is being very, I can only ever think it is because his agent is talking. And if his agent wasn't going to talk, the player would know about it. The player knows when his agent is gobbing off around the press.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? But you won't see what you get with Bernardo Silva, what's happening with Sterling. It's very weird, if you know what I mean. But Bernardo Silva's actually being more cunning than Sterling was.
Yeah, the thing is, there's different levels of professionalism with how they move with regards to getting what they want. And again, it's almost going off of, well, shoot, it's 2 years now when we think about it, right? Because it was the COVID season that these unhappiness rumors were coming out with regards to Bernardo Silva, and those were.
Well, Pep confirmed him, didn't he? There weren't sort of rumors. Pep came out in a press conference and said he wants to leave. Yeah,
I think what City's doing in terms of what the agent's putting out there, City's made the evaluation of Silva at a point where I think they know Barca can't come in for him, but it's going to buy them time for a year to then properly line up how they fill that gap for him leaving.
Yes.
Which is great.
Which is what I said I think will happen anyway. I think in 12 months, as long as it's done correctly, as long as it's, because they'll only have 2 years left, they'll think 50, 60 million is a fair fee with only 2 years left, then they'll probably let him go with the blessing. But shut your agent up. I'm sorry, but Raheem Sterling did not go kicking and screaming to the exit door. Raheem Sterling was still, everyone's forgotten. Take Raheem Sterling out of the equation, we don't win that title against Villa.
Oh, yeah, that will never be lost on me. Never.
But that's been forgotten about. That's now gone.
Yeah. I don't know if so again, this is, and viewers, everyone in the channel, if you're new, hit that follow, sub button, like button. If you happen to be here before, please share this. Let's continue to have the conversation with even more people within your circles. But I'm maturing. I'm gonna be first to say I'm maturing. I'm not gonna fight all of these battles with regards to, in particular, with regards to Sterling and how he's treated on this exit. But there was a little span where I kept replying and just posted the last few minutes of the game for what Sterling delivered in that last game for us in a lot of these comments, just reminding these fans that were posting his miss or his errors. So it's wild. Let me do this transition real quick, and I definitely want to get to this next topic because you brought up a great point. Okay. This transfer window has not been boring at all. It kicked off. It kicked off, and we were loving life, right? We were like, the man is here. How it was unveiled, we were all loving it. Everyone was commenting, retweeting, quote tweeting. It was huge. Even look at Martin's avatar right now. StreamYard, he's got Holland holding up the shirt. We loved how this transfer window kicked off. We're now July 14th. This window doesn't close until September 1st. And I'm losing it, Martin. I am losing it.
Be careful. You be careful. Everyone will say that you're panicking and having a meltdown over nothing. But okay. I'm going to come. Don't worry. I've got all these facts ready. I've got facts, numbers, the lot. I've even got the squad from last season up. When I read out these names, you will be shocked at the names that will no longer be here. Because you'll be sat there going, hang on a minute, we ain't got this and we ain't got that. Because nobody, all I'm going to say is before you carry on and I'll come in with my bit whenever you want me to, no one is taking injuries into any consideration moving forward.
You're right. You're right. And let me point this out because, again, the transfer window kicked off. I'm loving life. You're loving life. City fans are loving it. Okay. Time progresses. And now with what started off as Erling Haaland's in, Aguero
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. He's coming in. Aguero replacement. Never filled in the spot for Aguero. Julian Alvarez comes in, replacing Ferran Torres, who was never filled in. Okay? We're loving life. We're like, oh, gaps are being filled in. We obviously there's Phillips, Calvin Phillips comes in, and Fernandinho, a spot vacates, he fills it in. Ooh, we're dealing with our gaps. We're dealing with the gaps that we've seen the season that we just had. We got the bodies. We know, I'm not mentioning his name, but left back is going to be moving on. We've got to fill in. It's rumored Cucurella is probably in that mix there. We're like, okay, we've got Zinchenko as well. Okay, we're good. We've got the bodies. We're all feeling really good. Time progresses. Gabby, why did I misspell that? Oh my gosh, 1 second. Terrible. Sorry for that. You guys didn't even correct me on this one. too fast. Gabby to Arsenal. Amazing, versatile player. He moves on. We're still like, we see it. He's played on the wing for us, not really at that number 9. Him going, no real reason to worry. We're thinking players from the academy are going to get that spot. Makes kind of sense because we're kind of covered. Time progresses now, and now Sterling, it's official, he's now at Chelsea. We hear that Ake, left center back, he's played left back, rumored to go to Chelsea. We then also hear that Zinchenko is also potentially going to Arsenal. 2 players to Arsenal, 2 players to Chelsea. The depth that we were talking about, I'm now scratching my head. I'm also looking at this transfer window. Look like the club acquired things strategically. We're making moves based off of calculated plans. What seems to be happening right now, viewers, Martin, is that it's reactionary. We're now reacting to vacancies as opposed to them being planned, and that's where I'm not panicking, I'm not stressing yet, but I am questioning. I'm now questioning, how are the gaps being filled? Will it be filled with buying players? Will it be the promotion of academy players? Or will it be, we don't need anyone? That's where I'm at. And I need you to make sure I don't panic.
Can
you do that for me?
I can try. Without, and listen, I'm not panicking. I'm not having a meltdown. Am I concerned at the moment? Yeah, this wind, it's what it is with the window at the moment. You bang on. It started out A-star, 10 out of 10, amazing. We were ahead of the curve. Haaland in, Alvarez in. We kind of knew Calvin Phillips was coming back end of the last season anyway because of the rumoured release clause. If Leeds got relegated, and then we thought, great, we'll start like you said, 1 in, 1 out, 1 in, 1 out. It was like for like, and it was done at the speed of light.
Yeah.
Even the rumours of Zach Steffen going out, but we had a goalie lined up. There wasn't even rumours of that. That was just 1 in, 1 out, done.
Great point.
What's now happened since is you start hearing little things. Now, the guys I listen to is David Ornstein, who's been absolutely on the ball all summer, absolutely on the ball. There's Graham Baylor, there's Sam Lee, and there's a couple of others who are sort of people that you listen to. And obviously Fab.
Yeah.
But Fab kind of can be known as a bit of a tapping merchant. Sort of gives you the deals as when you're already kind of. You've noticed with Fabrizio, he never comes in early on. He sort of comes in late on.
Yeah.
The people have already got a sniff of things. Now, I've never claimed to be an ITK. Don't want to be an ITK. I've no interest in being an ITK. But, you hear little snippets at times. That's it. That's all you ever hear.
Right.
And me and Rob, we're very confident in Haaland all the way through last season.
Okay.
As soon as we didn't get Kane,
well, I think I lost him for a second, viewer. So I'm gonna wait for Martin to get back. Daniel, hear what I'm saying though. And I wanted to put your comment here on screen. Sterling and Jesus aren't out with Haaland and Alvarez coming in. Haaland and Alvarez coming in was Aguero and Ferran Torres prior to that, because we dealt with going into the season without replacing them prior. And Sterling and Jesus are now new vacancies. Hopefully everything's okay on your end, Martin.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I pressed the wrong button. As I was saying, it's So we were fine. And then you start hearing little rumours of there was the Gabby to Arsenal, which we kind of knew. Sterling to Chelsea. Sterling leaving wasn't the surprise. The Chelsea destination was the surprise because everyone had sort of presumed City. And the thing that had been put out to the media was, or to the City media was, City, if City were going to sell, it was abroad. They were only going to go abroad. But the problem is you have with that, everyone abroad has no money. The only place with money is the Premier League. So you go, great, right, Chelsea. Fair enough. You take the hit. It's kind of a rival. It's not the best. Trust me now, City will be sat there going, that wasn't our first destination for it.
Right.
They're not stupid, but they know that was the only destination. Because I've always said this, if he was never going to sign a contract, they were not letting him out the door for free.
Yeah.
They were never going to. City do not let players go for free unless they are 31, 32, 33, and they've had 10 years. While they've still got value, they will get that value. That's what they will do. That's the way City run it.
Makes sense.
And then it became, well, Ake. And then that came out the blue. And everyone went, oh, right, Ake. And then everyone was like, no, that's a load of rubbish. And because Ake had done that, it was an Instagram post or something saying, I'm happy to fight for my place. Then Louis van Gaal came out with this spiel of, I really want you playing first team football. Okay, so you take the hit and you go, fine, all right. Then it's Ake's agreed terms. By the way, anyone who says, well, because I've heard this lately, well, you're not allowed to agree terms. Well, why is he agreeing terms? That's rubbish then. It must be fake. No, for everyone in the comments, I'll give you a little bit of an insight now. The bid is the last thing that goes in. Terms and contracts are agreed before the bid goes in. The reason why the terms are agreed is because you try and find out if a player's interested before they even put the bid in. If you just start throwing bids in willy-nilly, you go, it's all done private. These transfers are set up 6 months in advance. So like Khaldun said, Haaland had been scouting for 12 months. Fine. So Ake, you take the hit. Then it's Egan Riley's out. Then it's Lavia's gone. And then it's, because if you do remember, last season on our bench, you go from about December onwards, 5 of our 7, 8 subs were academy kids.
Yeah.
90% of those academy kids are no longer at Manchester City. Gabby, who was a bench warmer, not at Manchester City. Sterling, who was a bench warmer, not at Manchester City. Ake, who predominantly was on the bench, not going to be at Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay, everyone going, well, that's fine, and this is fine. But what you've got to realise is this is 60 games plus a World Cup coming up. Last season, at the back end of the season, Laporte and Fernandinho were playing with pain-killing injections in their body. Laporte came out and said, I was dragging my body through the last 4 games of the season. Yeah. Walker missed the back end of the season because he was injured. Walker is 32, 33. He's going to be getting more injuries. KDB's in his 30s, more injuries. Mahrez is going in his 30s, more injuries, because that is just human nature and the body.
Yeah.
But then Cole Palmer. Great. No, Cole Palmer, I can't wait to see him. Look how Pep treats youngsters. Anyone who thinks Palmer's walking in and playing 30, 35 games next season, no, sorry. It took Foden 3.5 years, 4 years to get into this first team. Doesn't happen.
Yeah, and the thing that just had me going from transfer window 10 out of 10 to 7.5, 8. I got my questions is because of how quickly players that we've had to rely on, and to your point, we didn't have the deepest bench, but the players that we did have to rely on that bench are now out the door, and they were trusted.
Well, let me throw an example at you. Sorry, mate. Do you all remember the Aston Villa game? Last game of the season. You shouldn't forget it.
Mm-hmm.
When the team news came out, what did every City fan do?
When the team sheet came out?
Yeah. What did the majority of City fans all do? They all went absolute Psycho. Into panic mode. Why is Fernandinho at centre back? Fernandinho at centre back. Oh, but that's it. The league's over. Blah blah blah. We've given the title to Liverpool because everyone went into panic mode when Fernandinho went to centre back. Why? Because I said it all season. Our squad was thin last season.
Mm-hmm.
Up to now, and this is why I got this up especially. I'll go through the goalkeepers: Scott Carson, Edison, Kieran Slicker, and Zach Steffen. Scott Carson, let's be honest, won't be used.
Yeah,
you've got Edison and you've got Ortega.
Yeah.
Defenders, and I'm gonna presume Ake and Zinchenko will go. Because if Ornstein's come out and said that they are in discussions, I'm believing that at the moment, because Ornstein's not got a thing wrong so far this summer. Nathan Ake, apparently everything is agreed. The only thing is the replacement. So we've got these are the list of the defenders. Nathan Ake, probably going. Egan Riley, gone. Cancelo, Laporte, Lavia, gone. Mbete, EDS player. Somebody else I won't name, in jail. Ruben Diaz, we know. John Stones, he predominantly gets injured every year. Let's be honest, John Stones gets injured every year.
Yeah. Oh, you might have accidentally muted yourself, Martin. I'm not hearing you. Martin, if you can
you hear me now?
I hear you now. Yeah.
Zinchenko, probably going. So out of, I think it was 12 defenders, 13 defenders, something like that, 7 of them are out the door. Midfield is the only place where we go, right, great, and up top. Now, what you have to do is another thing that everyone forgets. Grealish got absolutely bashed last season because he wasn't performing.
Right.
So you're all now hoping Grealish steps up. So that's another player. If he doesn't step up, what do you do then? No, our squad right now, this is why I'm not panicking, but right now is thinner than it has ever been. But we're all on the presumption that 2 or 3 more players will come in. I'm not believing the Pau Torres and everything else, because remember, you are not going to get a world superstar centre-back to come in to play 4th choice. They will not happen. Players have left this summer. Why? Because they're not playing.
Yeah.
Why would Pau Torres leave first-team football to come and play 4th choice at Manchester City?
Exactly. The whole point about having players on the squad, wanting to keep them happy, Pep and Manchester City, keeping players, never keeping players against their will, not being happy. We get all that. But we're not going to get a player that consistently gets playing time come to City to battle for playing time. That's not a realistic point of view, in my opinion. And that's why I'm thinking more and more that it's probably the promotion of the academy players that's going to be filling this 4th option, 3rd option, depending on the
academy
position.
Players though, because we've sold them.
Well, not with regards to no. If
you've got Wilson Esperand and you've got Mbete, Cole Palmer and McAtee, I don't class as EDS anymore because I think they'll be first teamers.
Okay, fair.
There's nobody. That's what I mean. You've only got Mbete and Wilson Esperand. They've got this. I can't pronounce his name. The guy who was in the AFCON, the right back, who was. Now the thing was, they were in talks with Forest.
Well, let me ask you this, Martin. Actually, do you think based off of our success last season, again, success the last 2 seasons in particular, do you think it's a confidence? You think it's an acquired confidence that City and director of football and looking at the landscape to be like, we can afford to let these players go? Or could there just be a calculated risk that Pep will get whichever players that we have at our availability to make it work?
I think it's calculated risk. I mean, I can see some of the comments. Daniel said we have 4 centre backs. technically we don't because we're talking about this on the proviso. Ake's going.
Right.
At the moment, it looks like Ake's out the door. So we've got 3 centre backs. One of them is John Stones, who gets injured every season.
Mm-hmm.
So then you've got Laporte and Diaz. Nobody's counting injuries. I'm just talking about injuries here.
Yeah.
You need Taylor Howard-Bellis is at Burnley. You know, this everyone went Callum Doyle. Callum Doyle's gone to Coventry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there is not this array of people that we think. What I'm trying to say is either Pep's thinking I'm going to have to toss off or get rid of some of these other competitions. For example, Carabao Cup or the FA. I don't know. But right now, excuse me, I'm presuming Cucurella's coming in. And that's if Brighton sell. Because Brighton are coming up with stupid numbers at the moment.
Stupid, yes. Too stupid
City will not touch. And trust me now, City just will not pay 60, 70 million for Cucurella because we're desperate. Right. We've all seen after Company and Aguero, if City can't get a player at the right price, they'll just leave it. And they'll take the chance. So, yes, it's a risk. But
I don't know. It's something that had me scratch my head a little bit. Let me read this comment from Dan. He goes, yeah, but Ake deal is not done because we are looking for a replacement. Ake won't leave until we found a replacement, and we will have 4 center backs plus Mbete when the season starts. I'm not trying to be.
I really am not trying to be argument. I'm not trying to be an idiot here. Why has everyone suddenly all got this thing that all these youngsters are appearing? I'm not being. I want to know why. I'm genuinely asking. Where have people suddenly got this thing that all these EDS players are going to start making appearances?
But here's the thing, and this is what I want to get to. It's an interesting optimism that we're having amongst the fan base, and I don't know if it's because of this new 5 sub rule that's in effect, or I don't know if it's because fans are just, I guess, taking on the point that we can't do things the way we've done it. But I find that hard. I find that a little difficult to believe because Pep, by nature, what we've seen, he is very, very patient and slow to bring young players into the mix.
And Betty's never played a minute of Premier League football, I don't think.
I don't think
and
so.
And we're going to draft him in his 4th choice.
Yeah. I don't know.
This is what I'm saying. I'm just asking, is that not a gamble? And we're not gambling this. I mean, if, for example, Daniel or Charlotte or whoever, or yourself said to me, I'm not bothered about trophies like me. I'm not that bothered. I would love it if Pep went, do you know what? I'm going to throw 5 or 6 youngsters in and I'm going to proper get them blooded. I would love that. As a homegrown Manchester City fan, I would love it. But on the counter of that, Vader, I know the chances of winning all these trophies have diminished big time. Because you cannot expect a bunch of EDS. Listen, I watched them all against Wickham live. I watched them play Wickham live. I got told Lavia was the best thing going. He was not good against Wickham. He floundered. It is such a step from EDS to first team football. Look at Jaden Braff. I got told Jaden Braff was this. We were all expecting big things out of Jaden Braff. Where's he now?
Yeah.
I got told about Brahim Diaz, the next big thing. Where's he now? Pedro Porro, the next big thing. Where's he now? It's such a step from EDS to first team.
It's tough. It's tough. And that's kind of also to the point, like, there's player trusted depth, which we had last season. We like, even Pep looking down the bench or bringing on a player looking to fill a role because we've seen it, because they've done it. It's like, even with regards to Ake last season, we were like, you've shown us we can trust you in the big moments. That doesn't happen overnight. Say that again?
I mean, here's the thing. Go back to the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. Did we have a team of youngsters out?
No.
So where's this optimism that all these kids are appearing?
Yeah. Now I will Yeah.
You know what I mean? We played Ruben Diaz against Peterborough and he got injured. Why are we? That's my whole point here. If Ruben Diaz is playing at London Road or the Community Stadium, or what I still know it as a London Road, so I'm sorry, I'm showing my age there. If we're still playing Ruben Diaz away at Peterborough in the FA Cup, but then Mbetti's going to be a centre back in the Premier League next year.
Yeah.
It's very A to Z for Pep. If Pep does it, brilliant. But I don't see it. And that's where my worry comes of being thin.
Pep may be playing these youngsters that are going to remain on the roster, on the depth chart within all of the early cup runs, and maybe as far as the semis with regards to these cup runs. Maybe that's how he's going to be giving them their opportunities and their development and their experience. Who knows? I think there is going to be an interesting observation that we're all going to have to place: player trusted depth versus player hunger depth, which we've heard a lot of, getting these young players that are hungry to prove themselves and to maybe bring in some fresh blood to compete. But this window doesn't end until September 1, so there's still going to be a lot.
Oh, no, but we will. I mean, everyone said about Neymar tonight. Listen, I do think we are shelving money for a reason. There is a reason we're shelving money. I personally think it's Bellingham. Not for this summer. I think it's for next summer.
But this Neymar rumor is for this year, right?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I can't do it, mate. I can't watch that. I mean, I'm not saying I won't watch City, but watching that, it become a circus.
I don't know how it works either, but I'll say this: the only reason why it would work, right?
Oh,
hear me out. No. The only reason why it would work is because of our manager. He is the only manager that can demand accountability from any player on the planet. So if there's a player that would come here, play a role, not look to be Mr. Flash or the center, look to be creative and get the ball to the man up front to score tons of goals, it would be under Pep. And Neymar under Pep, I think, would be something different. But I've heard this rumor like you, and you've probably heard it a lot more than I have, being there on the ground. But
it's on Blooming Forum. It's all over. 93-20 for him.
And I keep hearing this rumor about there's a big announcement, like there's a big signing that's going to happen this summer.
Yeah, it's going to break the internet. We're going to break doors. We're going to shut the. And I've heard it all.
Yeah. So that's.
I'm sorry. Do you know why I can't get in with the Neymar stuff?
Let me hear it.
Number one, he likes 2 months off every year.
Yeah. Very, very opposite to the Premier League. Yeah.
He does like his 2 months off to go and. He likes to go and. He's a good brother. Let's put it that way. That's all I'm saying.
Let's leave it at that. Yeah.
Number two is, if he tried any of the rainbow flicks and everything else that he'd like to do, I'm telling you now, Dan Burn at Newcastle is going to come through and snap his leg and go back and say hello to him. I'm sorry. I've watched it with Robinho. Robinho tried all these step overs. Look at me, I flare it. And some big centre back at Norwich just went and clanked him and sent him on his ass. Not. It would be a circus. And there's only one man at Manchester City and it's Pep. Neymar would be all. I just don't see it. I don't think he suits the press. Yes, is he an amazing talent? Yes, but he's all about him. He's all about me, and that. That's my other thing with all these players going. What have we as Manchester City? What have we had a strong thing for 4 or 5 years now, where we've always been the champ. We fight to the end. Why? Because our dressing room is united. Our dressing room is together.
Yeah.
And that's now going at the minute. It's going.
Yeah.
And you bring Neymar into that. I mean, wow. You might as well go and why don't we go and get Pogba? Get him off Juventus and we'll go and get Ronaldo and we'll make it a real circus.
There is a locker room dynamic that needs to remain strong. again, I think personality-wise, we do have the players that are at his level in terms of keeping him check. If he were to come, Daniel doesn't. He's not convinced by anything that I'm saying. He's saying
No,
Vader,
no,
keep him
I'm not
away from
Vader. I'm
City.
sorry. I agree with you 99.999% of the time. I can't get on board with Neymar. I can't. I
I hear that.
can't.
No,
I
I
just
hear it.
can't do it.
I hear it.
Sorry.
All right, let me do this real quick. I gotta get cleaner.
Vader games.
Okay, and again, if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Know when I go live, and definitely tune into the Mancunian Way. Subscribe to that channel and hit that notification button so you know when either of us go live and you're going to be able to consume the content. If you happen to miss us, watch us kind of like on demand and drop a comment. I respond to every comment that's posted, and I appreciate every interaction. I want to say this, Martin, because the summer is what the summer is. It's time to recharge. It's time to look at the team, think about the upcoming season and where we may finish, where some of our opposition may finish. But it's very rare that you look to concede the upcoming season before the windows even close or a ball's been kicked. And I'm hearing a lot of Liverpool fans saying that if they don't get a center midfielder, that they're conceding the league to Manchester City. I think they're doing that prematurely, especially the way we seem to be getting rid of players. But they're already moving that way to be like, this season isn't going to be successful because they're not filling an important gap, and City's going to be too strong. But I want to say this. Last season, Liverpool competed trying to win everything. Previous seasons, Klopp, whether it was how he managed his squad, whether he prioritized or not, but his focus looked to be getting them that Premier League title. I think Liverpool's winning formula just needs to revert to what they've done previous seasons. If they do believe that they do have gaps within their team, or they don't have the depth that they once had to be able to go for the quad, suddenly this year they don't have it. But I think Liverpool's winning formula can remain the same, and we will be going neck and neck with them again this season if they do just look to focus on the Premier League. And I think they really should just focus on the Premier League, because hearing from everyone with regards to Liverpool fans, that's all that they care about. They don't even want the Champions League. So I think that should be their winning formula. Is what I'm saying, you think, out of line or crazy or inconsistent?
No, because I thought Pep and Klopp swapped roles last year. In terms of, and what I mean by that is, did we take the cups as serious as we have done in the past? No. Look at the semi-final at Wembley. Yes, we got to a semi, but we kind of chucked it. You know,
I'm gonna deal with that after you finish your point. Go ahead.
Liverpool did something they've never done. Liverpool, like you said, Klopp always prioritised 1 or 2 competitions at max, but he went for all 4. And if you remember, 2 or 3 years ago, we did the exact same thing. And that's why the quadruple has never, ever been done, because it's so hard to do and you need a squad. Right now, last season, Liverpool had a bigger squad than us. They had more times to move it around, which is why I always say last season for us to win the Premier League was such an achievement and such an underestimated achievement. It was so underrated, and it should be. And to me, it was one of Pep's greatest achievements, especially with the way we literally crawled over the line. Don't kid yourself here. We limped over that line last year with the injuries, and we were literally walking wounded by the Villa game.
Yeah.
So I find it very interesting. What I'm concern. I mean, you're looking at. I mean, listen, Liverpool got beat the other day by the Rags 4-0,
Oh, it was
and
ugly.
the whole world went into meltdown. United fans were going to win the Champions League and win. You know, they're not even in it, but they're going to win it. You know, they're going to win the league. Ten Hag's the next step. And
Yeah.
listen, we are in the middle of pre-season. What worries me at the minute is City haven't even started their pre-season yet.
I know.
Everyone's on tour, and we're still in Manchester kicking a ball around on a training pitch.
Yeah.
No, because I'm a little bit of the opposite. We always start slow. And right
Yeah,
now, my biggest concern is we have two, because I won't include the Community Shield, because that's the game you want to win. That is
We do
for
want to
me,
win
the
that.
best. You want to win that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have two pre-season games. Liverpool have 6. Tottenham have about 5. United are on about 4 or 5 or 6 games. We've got 2.
Mhm.
We've got a load of new players coming in that need to integrate. We've got a lot of players out. Why are we only doing 2? We always start the season slow. So
Yeah.
I'm a little bit concerned on that at the minute. And right now, as we speak live, I put Liverpool as favourites over us simply because of our squad size and the lack of a pre-season at the moment.
Right.
Ask me again in 2 or 3 weeks when we've signed a couple of players and we've let Darling get going.
As of right
Maybe
now, that's how you see it. Yeah.
as of
right now,
live, I'm talking right now.
Yeah.
15th of July, whatever. I'm talking right now. In 2 or 3 weeks, it may be different, but I'm concerned about the lack of. It is a lack of pre-season. We've got 2 games. That's it. You know, it just bothers me. Liverpool, I did say to you, I think they are weaker because even if you go back to that United game, Darwin Núñez was a number 9, and I said to you, he won't move, and he didn't move. He went to number 9 and stood there like a lamppost. Where was Salah? Where was Salah?
It wasn't a good debut, even though it was a preseason game in terms of movement, things that you look at and as precursors to the season. It was not a good showing. I think I think it's actually interesting that point about how Klopp and Pep kind of switched roles a little bit with how they tackled the season last year, and I've made this point before. When it came down to that FA Cup semi, Pep 100% thought, I'm not conceding this EPL. I'm not conceding this EPL to Liverpool.
Said it before the game, didn't I?
Yeah. So you see how the decisions he made with the bodies that he played was obviously with a long-term vision with regards to closing out this EPL and not conceding this season to Liverpool, especially with what would have been a miraculous comeback, 14 points, blah, blah, blah. But the reverse side now is Klopp did field his strongest 11 in that FA Cup. And then when it came down to the latter stages of the season, Champions League, as well as I believe the FA Cup final and the season, he didn't have the bodies there because they had played in so many intense matches to close out. So, yeah, it was definitely the right decision by Pep because, we would all agree we want the
Yeah, I didn't agree there, but that was because
at the time. Yeah, at the time you did.
That's because I travelled 250 miles down to Wembley and was watching it live. So I kind of didn't. I wasn't in a good place on the day. I was very upset because only reason is I want to win the FA Cup more. For me, we haven't won it enough.
You want to win? No, but you would want the FA Cup and EPL.
Yeah, because for me, see, this is where me being the home fan here is I grew up being around the TV watching the 3rd round draw and the dream of Wembley and the Twin Towers and everything else that the FA Cup brought with it. You know, singing Abide With Me before the game and it all being glitz and glamour. And I just don't think we've won the FA Cup as much as, you know, you got to remember this is the oldest trophy in world football.
Yeah.
And I just thought I was a bit upset because, you know, it wasn't a cheap day. Tell you now, it was 60, 70 quid a ticket. You know, more for some people.
Yeah.
And we went down there with a second string. It was a bit, but I get it. You look back and you go, we won the Premier League. But that's why I think they swap roles. Pep 3 years earlier wouldn't have done that. This is the manager who won the domestic quadruple that Sir Alex Ferguson, which is claimed the greatest ever manager, said would never be done.
Right.
And I quote, the domestic, every trophy in this country will never be won because it can't be done. And Pep did it.
Pep did it 100%. I think, and again, to that point, this upcoming season, the movement that I'm seeing within this transfer window, both teams making choice to let some veteran leadership go, and it's still undecided on how those gaps are going to be filled. But I think if Liverpool is, based off of the fan base, going to pursue and get what they want, Klopp just has to do his winning formula, focus on the one, and be laser focused and come out with.
Let me reverse the question, Bater, to you. Who's favorite right now for you?
So favorite right now for me, with the exits that are happening out of City, I slightly still favor City because I think the scoring firepower that we're bringing in will make the difference. I think
Haaland's a crock.
Apparently,
he's missing 6 months. Everyone's gone into meltdown because he's not had a picture in training so far.
Oh, you know what? The admin for Manchester City and the socials are
he's trolling.
Yes.
Trolling every bugger going.
You know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
Watch it tomorrow. He'll come out on a pair of crutches just to wind everyone up.
Or not even show again. To have things bubble up some more.
Apparently, he was at a media day for his new boot sponsor or whatever. So, hey, never mind. But
yeah, I think to your point, it's going to keep all of our eyes on this transfer window because, again, we're always assessing to see where we measure up and whether it's going to be a quote unquote comfortable fighting season or it's going to be a stressful back and forth. Can never really predict, but with I'll tell you this, the players that have left, the confidence is decreased a little bit because there's uncertainties. But I do still give the edge to City. I think there's
what about the World Cup though? Does that play any part here?
The World Cup interruption is where there's also added questions because I don't care who you are. There's no way we can predict how players will be affected by their season interrupted in the middle. Yeah, and then add to that the heat and the fact that football is being played over there. It's going to be so different. So I don't even know how that's going to affect everyone. But
all I'll say is I will be praying a lot of our players' countries are knocked out early. This is not one I'm going to be sat there going, get England to a final. No, sorry, go out in the group. Come on, forget it. Rest up. That's what I want. Go out in the group, rest up, just sit on your backside for 2 weeks, watch the rest of them else fight it out. Let Darwin Núñez get injured playing for Uruguay, whatever. I don't want to see any of our players past the quarterfinals. Sorry, forget it. Come home.
It's going to be...
I don't want it. I don't... And I am a club before country guy anyway.
Yeah,
I can't watch Gareth Southgate football.
Many are. And, he's got his limitations for sure. The thing... And so even just going back with regards to Liverpool, City favored right now, I give the slight edge to City, but I don't think it is we're like how Liverpool fans are moving, we're conceding things. And one of the comments earlier, I believe it might have been Daniel that mentioned it, but Liverpool love this underdog narrative that they try to do. So they're the only club that can claim to be the biggest in England or second biggest in England, but then want to play the underdog. And
they have a tag that they like. It begins with V and ends in M. And that's not a dig at what's happened in the past, but that's what they like to play. That because they love the coming from behind, we're the greatest team ever, blah, blah, blah. You'll hear it all, and that's fine. But you know what? I wouldn't rule out a wild card this year. This World Cup, I think, will play a big part in this league. I'm not saying you'll get a team like Leicester winning it again, but I think you might get a surprise. Not winning it, but I think we might get a surprise challenger. Don't think it'll be Tottenham, but I just think there'll be a slight surprise somewhere.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. And I want to say this to everyone that tuned in with regards to Vader Games TV, this home and away, and the dynamic to this show. Really, it's me. Like, you guys are tuning in. I'm so thankful, but selfishly, I'm so appreciative to be able to have a fan like Martin to be able to give me his time for over an hour talking football and to share the perspective of a home fan that, again, that lives it, that's in it, and we're able to bounce different perspectives, bounce ideas off. I'm the away fan all the way out here in Toronto. How I consume football is very different, and obviously how Martin consumes football is very different. Those of you,
I'm hoping to get this fella over to the Etihad when he can sort out a flight, and we're going to get him in the Etihad.
I would absolutely love it to be able to see Manchester City at a home game. Would be absolutely amazing, and I am gonna. You know what? It's mostly it's managing things with regards to work and family life, but I have to make it happen. I have to make it happen, and I appreciate you extending that offer to me. It is not a small offer at all. I'm very humble and thankful for it. Let me put this comment here on the screen. Daniel goes, I love the way Martin talks. 100% authentic, truthful, and that's all that we ask for. We just want to talk football.
I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not happy clapper. I'm not going to tell you that shit tastes like sugar and pretend everything's hunky dory. Listen, I have a belief. I have a policy. Nobody in this world is perfect. Nobody. As much as Pep Guardiola might think and everything else, everyone, Pep Guardiola himself will sit there and go, I can improve.
Mm-hmm.
His team might win 7-0. We might win 7-0, and Pep will pick something out to improve on. Because that's you. Everything in life you can get better at, and that's the beauty. You don't know it all. You're learning all the time.
100%. No one's perfect, but there's nothing wrong with trying to be perfect.
But it makes you a bad fan if you say anything negative anymore.
Clinical says, as an international fan, I'm looking forward to my first time in the Etihad as well. Clinical, thank you for being on the channel. Thanks for the interaction. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please, everyone, hit that like button. And like always, I'm going to do my best to have this show once a week. It's the off season, so it may not be that frequent, but I'm going to do my best. If there's not a home and away episode, there will be a Vader Games, Why Always Me. And again, I will always take time to think things through, put my comments on the screen so you know exactly what I'm going through, depending on occasional rants or some of the comments that come through from those viewers. We may go off on a tangent, but I do my best to stay lined up with that. And I hope you enjoyed this content. I also, if there's, I want you to make sure that you go to the Mancunian Way, subscribe, and check out any of the previous videos. In particular, go back and watch the last match of the season. I think you'd have great vibes, and you'll know really the energy. And if you're anything like me, I actually do enjoy consuming content when I'm best able to know kind of like the moments within the year. Sometimes going back and seeing like Champions League semifinal, first leg, second leg reactions and things like that, just to go back. And I definitely watch the games as well. Clinical puts up on the screen here. He goes, definitely, when I have some time, I'm going to watch your previous videos too, my man. Big up. Thank you so much. Daniel goes, I watched it 10 times already. That's too funny. That's too funny.
And can I just say, I've noticed you're nearly at 100. How this amazing. Listen, I've been accused of, I'm a fan who don't like away fans or fans from abroad. I just love anyone who loves Manchester City. I don't care if they're in Timbuktu at the moon. If they love Manchester City, what I don't like is people who can't all respect each other. We're all City fans. Nobody knows more than anybody else. Nobody, nobody loves anything more than else. Listen, we're all Blues. Vader is an absolute top bloke. Please hit that subscribe. Show him some love. We will be back very shortly on the Mancunian Way. Maybe sooner than people think, but we will be back. Brand new setup, brand new everything's coming. And yeah, it's going to be an enjoyable. I just can't wait. I can't wait to get it going, but show Vader some love. And it's been a pleasure to be on his channel. Thank you, mate.
No worries. Appreciate it so much. Daniel, Raheem, Clinical, Charlie, FIFA wasn't feeling well earlier. He couldn't stay throughout the entire show. CM City, I want to thank you all for tuning in and supporting the channel. Halo Bang Out as well. You guys don't need to stick around. Sneakerheads, feel free to stick around. You know how it is. Fan requested. The sneaker of this episode will be put on screen. And thank you so much for the love. Don't miss the next show, because it will be a good one. I'm sure there's going to be more drama within this transfer window. I'm sure there's going to be some more.
No, I want it peaceful now.
There is. There's no avoiding it. But check these out. There's no avoiding it. There's going to be drama within this transfer window. So definitely tune into the channel. Continue to support my channel and Mancunian Way. Hopefully you guys can see those. Let me know in the comments if you happen to know what they are. And on top of that, if rivals continue to talk crazy, I'm going to address it on this channel. So one love to everybody. Vader Games TV, home and away with Martin, the Mancunian Way. Check us out next time. We're out.